Late Night Health continues. Our in-studio guest, we don't get many of those, Gary Stewart, a certified constellation healing facilitator. Let's talk in our time together, Gary, about disease patterns.
Yes,
I mean, alcoholism, you said,
right.
Is passed
in any family. It doesn't
generation.
have to just, I don't want to stereotype Irish people, but it's very common. And it's more common. I see morbid alcoholism is actually pretty common on the East Coast. I have a lot of friends. I'm a New Englander, Bostonian by nature, and the toxic alcoholism that I see in the East. And if we look at the larger system that people are tapping into, I sincerely believe that the rape and pillage of the Native American Indians there's a collective guilt on the land for what the colonists did. And I really think people who live there are paying a price for all the blood spilled of the Native Americans. We're talking about larger metaphors.
I said, do people ask you if this is woo-woo?
Yes.
How do you? I mean,
well, they may think it is, but when they have the actual experience, they're seeing it's such a multi-dimensional emotional things. And a lot of clients, I do distance work. You mentioned in the last part of the show, and I was working on a couple in Cuba, a couple from Cuba in Miami. That was a referral from the EBC, and they wanted to know why is the energy they keep losing all their money and they're not solvent. So when we did their constellation about prosperity, it showed up that they were honoring their grandparents who lost all their property to Fidel Castro. So we had reps for her grandparents, who were dead, by the way, bowing to Castro. This was our fate, being taken over by communism, losing all our property to the state. 2 weeks later, she called me crying, money's flying at us from all directions. So we create a healthy boundary between the past and the present for the future. We want to finish the past with
Daryl,
Castro.
excuse me,
Yes.
Daryl, when do we go? When do we start?
Anytime.
Anytime?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
We didn't start?
No, we started. No, I'm asking. We want to be cleansed. We want money to start.
When do we
flowing.
start?
Yeah.
That's what you meant.
That's
sorry.
it.
He's getting a bigger P.O. box.
Okay,
exactly.
Thank you.
How
thank
the
you.
profits?
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Yeah, so money started flowing to them, and I called them last week. It's been a full year since the constellation. Money has flown. What blew her mind the most when we put in a representative for her father, mind you, I have an intake sheet. I know the family history, so I knew they were Cuban, second generation coming to America, leaving the ancestors behind with Castro, who's still kicking.
Yeah, he is.
85 or 90 or whatever. And when I put her father rep in, he needed a chair to sit down. He said, my knee is giving out. This was a rep. I said, okay, that's quite interesting. When I told her that, she said, my father can't stand because his knee's blown out.
Oh my! How do you do this long distance? If you were
Yeah.
you and I live not far from
Right,
each
exactly,
other.
exactly.
But if we were to do this, on Skype or on
Right,
the phone,
absolutely,
How do we
absolutely.
have somebody else involved in the
Right.
in
So
the
what I do is I would think of a person's name. In your case, I would think Mark Allen wants this.
Right.
Or that, whatever your goal would be. And then I pick a male representative there to be you achieving that goal. And then the whole field opens to your ancestral line or whatever is blocking that goal. I just did some distance work in Detroit last week. And the interesting thing, the wife who's the fourth relationship of her husband, the ex-wife's driving her crazy. He had a broken mother bond. His mother rejected him at 5 years old, left him with his father, and he's never healed. And he's had 4 marriages, and she's the fourth wife, and she's going crazy with all the baggage that he has with that. In the constellation field, we dealt with the relationships. One wife was an alcoholic, one was wandering around, and I had the client turn her back to her husband's business, and we had a rep for his mother who walked to him. Now, his mother's departed. She walked to him and touched his shoulders, and I emailed her the report the next day, didn't even talk to her. She said, when I got up, my husband was not angry. He was vulnerable. He was like a little boy, and he had a dream that his mother came and hugged him that night. He did not know the constellation was being done. He had a dream his mother hugged him. It was a violent thunderstorm in Detroit that night, thunder and lightning all night. And then he woke up like he was in contact with his mother, and she said, he's so peaceful and not angry anymore. And she said,
an overnight change.
Overnight change. And she
And
said,
that didn't even, he wasn't even part of
he
the
wasn't
of the-
there.
of the
His
healing.
wife wanted it, so she would stop going crazy with his unopened baggage of his ex-wives.
So if you have baggage.
Yes, we all do.
We all do.
Me too.
Okay, everybody has baggage, and you live in Southern California. You can actually see Gary
live.
in person, and if not, we'll have some information on our website at latenighthealth.com so that you can contact Gary and learn more about this. The one of the things you said to me a few weeks ago is that this is science.
It really is. I mean, if you look at quantum physics, and actually, Bert Hellinger, the developer of this over 40 years ago, he's in his early 90s now. Rupert Sheldrake, who's a quantum physicist, says you're meeting science and the creation of the universe in a really methodical way. Because if you really look, here's my belief, or what I've discovered doing it for 17 years, over 9,000 constellations, is that thought precedes energy, precedes matter. We're going into the conscious thought field that precedes the energy that creates the matter. And that's why I do distance work. Consciousness is everywhere.
There's so much to do. Well, you're going to have to come back and we'll
You
do
got
this
it.
again.
You got it.
But you're going to hang out and we're going to talk
Absolutely.
with all kinds of people this afternoon on Late Night Health. I'm Mark Allen. Join us at latenighthealth.com. When we come back, Patty Wood will be joining us. She was on a couple of months ago, and we're going to be talking about water. And is it healthy to drink water right from the tap? Or what about bottled water? Last time we talked with Patty, we talked about electronic radiation from like cell phones. So we'll be talking to Patty in just a few minutes here on Late Night Health. Don't go away. More coming up. Be sure to join us at latenighthealth.com.